You know what, John? All right, if you're game, I'm game. All right, if you're working, I'm working. So I got no problem giving you an update to your update. Okay, so the back is looking a lot better. I think it's a definite improvement. As such, I still think that we have a little bit of an issue with the lack of negative space in the back of the poster. And I think that there's a couple of areas I think that are pointing to that. Number one, I think that the timeline itself and I remember saying this in the last video, the timeline's taking up a lot of real estate. What if we can't move that down a little bit, or maybe to try to close down the letting on these lines right here so we can get a little bit more room towards the bottom here. What I'm suggesting is maybe reduce the size of the timeline, move it down in the composition, pull your type down, and give us some sort of a hang line here, and maybe start right here. Just a little bit of a breather, a buffer area, so that we're not jumping right into the composition and staying there, because there's really no breathing room in the composition, no place for their eye to rest, so to speak, other than the generous space between paragraphs that you've left. And I think that is definitely helping. Absolutely, that was a good decision. The other thing is the head. The head's just kind of sitting here. I wonder if you could find an image of a square, with the background, because this is just kind of a floating head. Realistically, that's what it is in the composition. It's a floating head, and it's a little uneasy. It's a little bit visually ambiguous. So I don't know if it's the most comfortable relationship that we have going here on the back of the poster. And so now the timeline's a home run, no doubt, man. The timeline is a home run, absolutely. Okay, the front. You know that I'm good. I think you know what I'm going to say. There's too much going on here. There's too much going on. Right now you've got the front of the poster. The front of the poster should act as merely as gathering someone's attention. I think right now the strength is the name shown in the ECG. I think that this is a classic case of the law of diminishing returns, aka Hicks' law. The more, everything you add to this piece takes away from what's already there. So you've got, and I'm just going to count, okay? You've got several different visual identifiers. You got this gradient here, this gradient here. You've got the line type. You've got the change of color. You've got the background, the change of color in the background that now has this dimension. You've got the blip. You've got the grid. You've got discovering electrocardiogram. Then you've got the green in the background. The only thing you need here, John, is the ECJ with the name and discovering the electrocardiogram. And that's it. The rest, and with the background, of course. The rest, I think, is overkill. I really do. If I were art directing this project, and I don't like to do this, because I like to let you guys find your own visual solutions, as you know, but I like to give hints and let you guys go from there. But if I were art directing this project, since we're so close to the end here, I would say this. I would say your visual solution lies in duplicating the background here, that grid paper for the front, using this type of same ECG, but with the new name, just in a line like that. And then what I would do is in this writing right here and this kind of pointed thing, I would just point like to an area on there, and I would say discovering the electrocardiogram, like that's handwritten, like that. So you've got his name, then you've got the pointer, and then you've got discovering the electrocardiogram written in that kind of, so it's mimicking the same kind of typographic treatment here. Okay, and I think that's going to be your closest solution. I think it's going to be your most interesting. But my main thing here is this, John. Is my main thing is that you understand what I'm saying about the number of different visual effects that you're putting on the front and how each one kind of reduces from the whole overall impact of the piece. Okay, I want to point a couple of other things out to you here too. This is good, man. It's perfectly. You can read it. You can read it. So my only thing here is that you've got this E, and it's different than everything else. Okay, everything else has this like jagged, and your solutions are good. The L's are L's, the I is definitely I, the W. The only thing that isn't fitting in here is the E, because it's a different form. It's taken a different shape. It's got round edges and it's got a gradient in it and it's thicker in stroke than everything else. My suggestion is watch my cursor, but I would do something like this for the E. I would go jagged like this. Okay, I'll do that again. And I think that would some variation of what I just did is going to be your answer. It's going to fit better, so everything's the same and nothing is different. Okay, those would be my recommendations. I know we're down to it here, John. Good job, man. Wow, you're working hard. I appreciate that. Okay, any questions? Give me a holler. Thanks, man.